Morning everyone, day 5 of Autism Awareness Week and day 5 of my videos. If you check out my channel you'll see the other 5. Bit of a disclosure, if I've upset anyone I do apologise. I think I've tried to make it quite clear this is about my autism, this is about me. So it's not saying this is how it is. In fact, to be honest, I'm still learning myself about autism. I think it's a subject, neurodiversity and the issues that how it affects people. I think there's a lot of investigation, there's a lot of research needs to be done, and so we're only basically using what information we have at the minute, and that's what I am, and how it affects me in relation to that information. So we've discussed, or I've discussed, diagnosis, where you would get a diagnosis, why you would get a diagnosis, and what to do after you've got a diagnosis, disclosure, to disclose or not to disclose, and then sort of my traits. And I wanted to expand on the traits a little bit. I kind of wanted to hopefully finish on a bit of a positive, and the sort of the strengths that I've picked up on, and these are strengths and needs as well. For me, one of the characteristic traits of autism is, that you don't speak and you avoid social situations. But for me, articulation tends to be my strength. I'm a bit of a chatty Cathy. I tend to get myself involved and immersed. That can be a positive thing in terms of your coping mechanisms in social situations, but it can also be difficult and detriment to you in terms of you making mistakes, because as someone with autism you do tend to speak as you see it, so you say you see, and yeah, that can have its detriment. I am a bit of a happy-go-lucky kind of person. I will have a go, but it does wear you out, and eventually you do crash. I do have meltdowns apparently. You just become dependable, and eventually that dependability, he's always there, he's always on the end of the phone, he's always there, it catches up with you. So I won't say feeling stressed and depressed is probably a bit harsh, but you do feel a little bit like that. I've said to people, I just wish, sometimes I wish you could just beam me up, Scotty. I had an off button, not a pause button, an off button, and you could just disappear for a while. Other people say that, so again, this is not specific to just somebody that's autistic. We all feel like that from time to time. But when you're taking in so much information on a day-to-day basis, and then you have to function as an individual, and then you have to function in your working life, and then you have to function in a crisis, and those crises can be anything from there's just a minor change in a situation. That is difficult. That can be difficult for me. So for someone whose autism affects them differently, you can imagine that and all those scenarios can impact their life a lot, and it makes them really difficult to function. But ultimately you do cope, and there are good things. I mean, I've talked about not having any obsessions or stimming and repetitive behaviour, but again, you pick up traits. I've noticed I'm with the same person for 35 years. That's an obsession. It started out as an obsession. In fact, if I hadn't been as obsessed as a 16, 15-year-old, I wouldn't be there. We wouldn't be together today. It was that obsession. I started running 2 years ago, 46 years old. I started running. I got really obsessed. I was running 20, 30 miles a week, kind of like semi-pro, I was getting quite good. I thought, I was getting sort of under the 2 hour mark for an half marathon. Yeah, quite chuffed. But it became an obsession. And same with sort of exercise, take it to the extreme. And what you've got to remember is that when you're dealing with just the normal functions of life, with the normal stresses of life, and then all the information that you have to take in, your brain is a huge muscle and requires lots of energy, and that energy's got to come from somewhere. And I suppose one of my what some people would call as lucky is, oh, look how slim you are, you're so you're skinny. You get the derogatory terms, they're never nice, are they? They're never like, some people do. They're always the derogatory terms, and yeah, probably I'm so skinny, athletic, I do work out, but that's because I'm burning so much energy. It requires, to be me requires a lot of energies. So that's probably why I look the way I do. So there are some positives, and we all have our strengths, and if you can singly focus on that strength, then even better, because that makes you even better at that particular skill. So neurodiversity, autism for me does have its positives, and I see it as a skill, I see it as a strength. Yes, there are needs, I'm not going to call them weaknesses, I'm going to call them needs within that, where other people need to understand and appreciate that. And yeah, it's not an easy life for an autistic. So I'm going to leave that today. I want to expand on some other things, but I don't know how. I might put this on Facebook, and if anyone sort of puts any comments underneath, coping strategies. I have a good coping strategy for if you can't eyeball someone, because that's quite difficult. I find that difficult. Another coping strategies. I'm still discovering myself, because I've only just been diagnosed, so for me it's still a learning curve. But if there are any questions, specific questions, I will do a video on how I cope with it, and that might help you. So I've gone over on my time on this one, so I'll catch you later. Hopefully catch you next week. Alright, cheers. Bye.